As you're aware, we use Fluorescein to grade our gas paintball lens fitting. So for accurate Fluorescein assessment of gas paintball lenses, we instill a small amount of Fluorescein into the tear film, either superiorly with the patient looking down or into the inferior fornix. Once we've instilled this small amount of Fluorescein, it's really important that we wait about 45 to 60 seconds. This allows the Fluorescein to flow behind the lens. If we try and assess the fit before this, what we're actually looking at is front surface Fluorescein. This will disguise the fit pattern and make our results inaccurate. When we're actually looking at the lens with cobalt blue light, we grade the Fluorescein that we see on an intensity scale of between plus and minus 2. It's important that we look at the central, mid-peripheral, edge zones separately in all 4 meridians. So with our scale, plus 2 is the brightest amount of Fluorescein we can see, minus 2 is touch. Also, it's useful to grade the width of the edge clearance and whether it is even and spherical or whether there is some variation indicating that there's a toroidal fit. So looking at this example of a Fluorescein fit, we have superimposed the grading scale over the fit of the lens, so we can then adequately look at how the lens is fitting. So we see centrally it's well fitting and we've graded this 0. On the temporal side, again we've graded mid-peripheral and edge as 0, both being good. On the nasal side, mid-periphery is minus 1, so that is much closer to the cornea, and the edge lift again is adequate at 0. When we look inferiorly, we can see we've got increased clearance at 6 o'clock, plus 1 in the mid-periphery and plus 2 at the edge. And so looking superiorly, again, we've got little to no clearance in the mid-periphery and some edge clearance around plus 1. If we're consistent in using this grading scale to look at all RGP lens fits, it then becomes very easy for us to look at the lens fit as we make alterations to the parameters. So in summary, the use of a grading scale does help us to assess the fit of an RGP much more accurately. It's much better to use a grading scale rather than just say fit is good, the lens is well centered. For practitioners who are following on from us, that doesn't actually mean very much at all. Whereas if we have an accurate, reproducible grading scale and we're consistent in how we assess the lenses, it makes it much easier for our colleagues who are following on, and it also makes it much easier to describe the fit to manufacturers if we have an issue and we need to make some changes. Also, don't forget that accurate record keeping is a GOC requirement, so we need to keep contemporaneous records up to date so that if there are any issues with the patient fit, we can refer back to those records with a high degree of trust.